Everyone keeps saying that the days of the barn find are over, and yeah, they are getting less and less common, but this 356 has been carefully tucked away for 20 years until now. And before you all flame me, yeah, I know it wasn't technically a barn. And also, it wasn't even really a find. I mean, I knew that the car was stored here, and I knew it'd been there for a long time. But today, I'm going to tell you about the history, why this car is so special, share some neat historical artifacts that I found in the car, and tell you why it's extremely sentimental to me. So what we have here is an unbelievably original 1960 Porsche 356B Roadster with only 2 owners since new. My friend Bill, who most recently owned the car, has had it since 1964. Yeah, that's 58 years. Well, I guess it's got 3 owners now, because I'm the 3rd. So first of all, no, it's not a speedster. You Porsche gurus already know that. It's a roadster, which actually was produced in smaller quantities and is more rare than the speedster. The speedster is pretty stripped down, and in fact, it didn't even have normal windows. As you've seen with modern 911s, they tend to get more and more luxurious over the years. The replacement convertible D was a little bit more than a speedster. It had a taller windshield and it had regular roll-up windows. And then the convertible D became the Roadster in 1960. The Roadster still retained the similar lines to the speedster. The 1600cc engine gave pretty good performance, and the Roadster remained the sporting choice in the 356 lineup because the Cabriolet was slightly heavier. Roadster production only lasted through early 1962, and 2,902 of them were produced, if my research is correct. So yeah, if you're following along, there were 4 different types of 356s without a roof: the Speedster, the Convertible D, the Roadster, and the Cabriolet. But what makes this Roadster really special is the stories that it tells. It's not a pristine example, and that's actually what I really like about it. I always believe that cars should be used and enjoyed, and looking at all the nicks and stuff on this car, I can tell that it was used but not neglected. We did find a bunch of parts, so that's good. And we're gonna try to roll it on these so that we don't have to do like a 20-point turnaround here. We could probably like maybe get it turning on these. Yes. A little bit easier.
We got enough of it. We're out of there.
Yeah, Steve just went to his car to grab the jack in case we need to like jack it up at all, but I think it might be. They seem like.
Yeah, those roll.
Yeah.
You just gotta get the wheels in the right direction.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah, should we give it a go? Oh, you got it, Jack. Oh, awesome. Great. He went out to his truck to get it, but this will be even better.
It works.
I know, I feel like I'm kind of want to like document some of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
This was like quite an epic like experience here. All right, so when I dropped the car off with the mechanic, I actually gave him the big stack of records that came with the car because I figured he could use these to piece together the history as he's going through the thing. But this car just wants to tell its story, and before I drove off with it on the trailer, being a convertible, I grabbed all the stuff that was like in the door pockets and just inside the car so that they wouldn't blow away. And these are some of the things that I found. So let's take a look. There is some cool stuff in here. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is this map, which I found in the door pocket in the car. And obviously, it's a pretty old map. In fact, as I open it up, you can see here, you can actually see copyright 1961 here. So makes sense that if he bought this, he actually did buy this in 1964 in Atlanta, and it looks like he clearly had 2 different routes marked out, a northern route back home to Berkeley, California, and a southern route marked out back to Berkeley. So maybe he was planning on, in case there was snow, he'd take the southern route. What's also interesting, really, really cool, is that he had all his stops marked here with these X's. So I'm guessing that was about a day's worth of travel in a 356. This is just such a phenomenal piece of history of this car, going all the way back to when my friend Bill bought it in 1964. So this is awesome. I'm so glad this was in the car. I might actually get this framed or something because it's just really, really cool. I also found this, which is a list of Volkswagen dealers in the United States, and I almost threw it out because I was like, why would I need a list of Volkswagen dealers in the United States from so long ago? But what's cool about this is it is actually a handwritten maintenance log. And I mean, just the details in here are unbelievable. I feel like I am Indiana Jones uncovering an ancient manuscript and kind of like going through it for the first time. This dates back to 1981, but it mentions that it was transferred from cards. So I think that there must be other records that the mechanic has chronicling from 1964 to 1981. But I mean, look at this. This is so cool. Gas fill-ups, oil changes, all kinds of stuff in here. Very, very detailed, mileage, dates, etc. But the one that really caught my attention here was this, which was marked with double arrows here and an arrow there. You can see it was dropped off in September of 1998, and it says, take to Leo Droughton's shop in Marysville. Then picked up in May of 99, so that's almost like about 6 months later. It was the end of September here, yeah, about 6 months later, it was picked up finished car in Marysville. So I actually called my mechanic, Bill Eason, and I said, dude, can you check the stack of records that you have to see if there's anything to correspond to this big gap when Leo was working on this thing? And he said, yes, sure enough, there is an invoice for Leo Droughton's shop for an engine rebuild. And Leo was quite a renowned 356 engine mechanic back in the day. So this bodes really well that the engine was rebuilt by someone who knows what they're doing. And the other cool thing was that on those invoices, it actually says it was rebuilt to a higher specification with 912 cam and higher compression pistons. So that's awesome. The engine was rebuilt and it was actually improved a little bit. And when we picked up the car, we actually found the original pistons. They had been put into the boxes that the new pistons came in. So we still have those, which is really, really cool too. But one big mystery remains, and that is, why did my friend Bill have the engine rebuilt and then essentially park the car? He only drove it 300 miles since getting the engine rebuilt. We've got 47,400 miles here. And then this says 2006, but this is still what's on the odometer right now is 47,670 miles. So that's kind of a mystery. And we're going to have to dig into that and try to figure out why he parked the car after getting a fresh engine rebuild. Because prior to that, he used and enjoyed this car. It was a car that he loved to drive. So anyways, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for regular updates as I uncover and kind of piece together more and more of this car's history. I was actually friends with the previous owner and mentioned him briefly in my Lotus video as being the person who convinced me to buy the Elise. But my becoming the custodian of this car came under some sad circumstances as my friend Bill passed away in March of 2021. And for the past 12 years, we'd been going to Monterey Car Week together as an annual tradition. He was a true car enthusiast and just an awesome human being. So when his daughter reached out to offer to sell me the car, it just seemed like the perfect way to remember him. I consider it a huge honor and privilege to take care of this car and think of my friend Bill every time I'm behind the wheel. And as I uncover more about the history of the car, I'm sure it will be interwoven with Bill's own personal history and experience owning it for such a long period of time.
so we got the car out, and I think relatively unscathed. I mean, we'll see. Seemed like there was maybe a little bit of drama with the headlight. But what's really interesting is that the wheels or the brakes are really seized up or something, so it does not roll easily.
Okay, so what are my plans for this car? Well, after picking it up, I immediately dropped it off with 356 expert Bill Eason to get it running again. Well, I wouldn't say immediately because the rear brakes were seized and even getting it off the trailer was pretty challenging. And even though I love do-it-yourself projects, this is a little bit beyond my pay grade. I mean, it's a simple car, but I really have no expertise here, so I wouldn't even know what's normal and what's not normal in terms of how it performs and how things are put together. So I figured take it to a pro, get it all sorted out mechanically so that I have a good baseline, and then enjoy the car. It's an old car and it has some patina and wear on it. It's got dings in the doors and holes in the carpet, but I'm not gonna do a big restoration on it. Aside from the mechanicals and just getting things working again, I'm planning to leave it as is. The joy of having a car comes from using it, and I think that's what my friend Bill would have wanted me to do. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this and if you want future updates on the 356 Roadster. I'm sure it'll be featured on the channel quite a bit, as there will constantly be little things that need to get sorted out, and I plan to hopefully take it on some rallies.